I just got laid off from my work like 30 minutes ago. The company didn't announce that they were going to do this, and they didn't even say that.
I just got laid off from my job. I can't believe I'm saying that.
I've worked here 3.5 years. It's very unsettling. It's very unsettling. Because I have 5 young kids at home.
A single cold email appeared. You have been removed from the system. No prior notice. Not a word of thanks. And you vanish from the system as if you never existed. In 2025, 12 major U.S. corporations from Amazon, Tesla, and Meta to McDonald's are quietly laying off tens of thousands of employees. AI, robots, and algorithms are reshaping the labor market. No noise, no alarm, just cold and silent, like an unspoken sentence. Amazon, a silent blood change in the heart of America. In early 2025, satellite images of Amazon's major logistics centers in Phoenix, Arizona, and Joliet, Illinois, revealed a strange phenomenon: a sharp drop in container volume and unusually empty parking lots. Something unseen since the pandemic. Soon after, Amazon officially confirmed it had cut more than 17,000 jobs, mainly in operations, warehousing, and delivery. The reason wasn't a financial crisis or a drop in orders, but a new force. Delivery robots, warehouse analyzing AI, and automated pick-pack-ship systems. Meanwhile, the company continued expanding its hiring of AI engineers, algorithm designers, and automation specialists, many from global tech hubs like India, Poland, and Israel. This move sparked a ripple effect across related industries. The domestic logistics sector faces fierce competition as smaller businesses lacking AI investment get pushed out of the supply chain. The vocational training industry is grappling with a huge gap as manual laborers lose jobs but can't yet transition into tech roles. The chip and automation sector, however, sees massive gains. Demand for sensors, AI chips, and robotic software is surging. Is America on the right path in this digital transformation, or entering a new age of social division, where inequality is no longer about money but the right to work? How far do you think the government should intervene in this automation wave? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Tesla's mass layoffs leave. Thousands of Americans jobless. Data from Tesla's key manufacturing complexes show a sharp drop in production and transportation activity in the first quarter of 2025. Almost simultaneously, the company confirmed the layoff of over 14,000 employees, directly impacting engineering, software, and logistics departments. Many contracts were terminated without notice, including veteran staff who had contributed to key growth phases. One case in point is engineer Nico Murillo, who was forced to live in his car after suddenly losing his job. A stark example of the harsh internal shift at Tesla. Tesla stated the restructuring is part of preparations for the next development phase, where automation is considered core. The company insists that it still provides support for affected staff, including severance packages and job referrals. However, many employees reported that the support was limited and lacked transparency throughout the transition. Notably, while cutting headcount, Tesla continues to ramp up investments in AI manufacturing systems and robotic automation, a strategy that signals a decisive shift toward a hyper-efficiency model powered by algorithms and machines. This is causing wide-scale disruption across the value chain. The EV industry is destabilizing as Tesla no longer represents job security, affecting the sector's overall HR strategy. In-house logistics is being forced to restructure toward automation. The software sector is witnessing a wave of unemployed engineers, people once considered indispensable. Automation takes over, UPS workers laid off. In the first quarter of 2025, internal reports show UPS laid off more than 12,000 employees, mostly last-mile delivery drivers and warehouse staff. Meanwhile, upper management still received multi-million-dollar bonuses, triggering backlash from the public and transport unions. 12 major U.S. corporations are quietly firing workers. Could you be on that list? UPS is just one of them, but what's happening here reflects a broader, alarming trend. Ironically, the groups hit hardest were once crucial during the COVID-19 crisis. They were the workforce that kept America's supply chains from freezing, and now they're the first to be replaced as companies move to cut costs. This event has triggered widespread consequences. The last-mile delivery chain is losing seasoned workers, reducing operational efficiency. The healthcare insurance sector is seeing thousands lose their benefits due to sudden layoffs. The vocational training system is not agile enough to support the transition of blue-collar workers. This situation raises a broader social question. How can digital transformation happen without creating dark zones of welfare and income loss among working-class labor? GM's green shift results in thousands of job cuts. Starting mid-first quarter, 2025, satellite images of General Motors' major production sites in Michigan and Ohio showed slowing activity, followed by an official announcement. Over 9,800 jobs were cut. GM stated the reason as restructuring to accelerate the transition to electric vehicle EV production. However, this shift hasn't been balanced between tech and people. Most affected workers were longtime assembly employees tied to combustion engine lines with no digital background to adapt to the new EV tech. This has caused a clear domino effect at the local level. Restaurants, diners, gas stations, and support services around factories reported a 30 to 50% drop in revenue. Worker residential areas now show many vacant homes as laid-off employees are forced to relocate. Local vocational schools are overwhelmed by the flood of people signing up for retraining without enough suitable programs in place. GM's case clearly illustrates the ongoing conflict in global energy transition strategies. While the long-term environmental and tech gains are real, the shift is leaving huge social and workforce gaps, especially in America's traditional industrial zones. Meta cuts staff to pour money into the metaverse. In the first quarter of 2025, Meta carried out another round of layoffs with nearly 8,000 employees affected, mainly at its headquarters in California and New York. These changes coincided with the company accelerating investments in artificial intelligence and the metaverse, two sectors seen as pillars of the future after the traditional social media model reached its growth ceiling. The most impacted departments include marketing, HR, mid-level engineers, and non-AI content development teams, roles less directly tied to the company's new core tech strategy. Meta described this as a resource optimization process. A company spokesperson said, "We're shifting focus to high-growth areas like AI and the metaverse. These tough decisions are meant to ensure long-term competitiveness." However, many employees described their experience as cold and inhumane, as layoff notices were sent via email and office access was revoked the same day. Some said they only realized they were fired when their keycard suddenly stopped working, a process seen as unprepared and disrespectful. The ripple effects of this decision are being felt across multiple levels. The digital marketing industry faces an oversupply of talent as tech firms shrink their marketing teams. The mid-tier tech labor market has become fiercely competitive, especially for those without AI expertise or roles in core fields. Tech hubs like the Bay Area and Manhattan are seeing a surge of skilled job seekers disoriented by strategic shifts in big tech. Meta's case highlights a broader trend in the tech sector. When strategic transitions outpace workforce retraining, the gap between the future of technology and the present-day worker becomes increasingly stark in skills, income, and job stability. Disney lays off thousands amid entertainment industry crisis. After several consecutive losing quarters from its Disney Plus streaming platform, Disney laid off over 7,000 jobs in Q1 2025. Affected roles were mainly in two core segments: theme parks and traditional content production, once considered the heart of the Disney brand. Unlike the glamorous image on screen, the restructuring process was rather cold. Many longtime employees with over 10 years at the company said they received a layoff email. No meeting, no official thank you. This restructuring reflects a sweeping change in the global entertainment business model. Theme parks and family tourism continue to face pressure from post-pandemic spending shifts, especially among middle-income groups. Content production is redirecting resources to high-profit digital platform projects, shrinking editorial and traditional production teams. The local cultural supply chain, from park service vendors to small partner studios, is also affected as contracts are canceled or downsized. This event points to a larger issue. As digital technology reshapes the global entertainment market, legacy giants like Disney must choose between innovating their model or preserving their identity. And sometimes, the biggest price is paid by those who've stayed loyal to the brand for years. Target automates workers removed from the system. In the first half of 2025, Target, one of America's largest retail chains, cut thousands of positions in distribution centers and office support departments. This decision came alongside the downsizing or closure of many suburban stores, especially in areas with high theft rates or low sales. Reassignments or shift reductions happened quickly, mostly without official notice. Some employees only found out they were laid off when their names vanished from the work schedule or they received a termination email. Meanwhile, Target has continued to invest heavily in online shopping services, self-pickup stations, and robot-run warehouses. A strategy that cuts costs but also raises concerns that traditional retail jobs are quietly vanishing from the industry's operating model. The cascading effects are becoming increasingly clear. Retail distribution is witnessing labor being replaced by machines, creating new technical skill demands, even at the entry level. Residential areas dependent on Target jobs have become economically vulnerable, as local store closures drag down surrounding consumer ecosystems. Temporary and part-time workers, who make up a large portion of retail labor, are falling into instability as the operating model shifts to automation and digital systems. Target isn't an isolated case, but a prime example of American retail's bold transformation, a shift from the people-powered storefront to a backstage automated system, where human labor risks being left behind in the value chain unless reskilled in time. Starbucks. When your coffee no longer needs a barista. In the first quarter of 2025, Starbucks implemented a series of large-scale restructuring measures, closing over 150 stores, reducing thousands of work hours, and cutting healthcare benefits for a significant portion of part-time workers. In cities like Portland, Denver, and Minneapolis, staff reported not receiving formal notice of cutbacks. They only realized it when their work schedules disappeared from the system. In some cases, employees had to ask managers directly to confirm they had been indirectly laid off. Meanwhile, Starbucks continues to invest heavily in self-service models, cashierless order counters, and robotized brewing stations, mainly located in airports, office zones, and major cities. The company stated that the goal is to optimize customer experience and boost peak time efficiency. The effects of this strategy go beyond headcount reductions. The F&B food and beverage industry is witnessing a shift away from traditional barista roles, long considered pillars of the cafe experience model. Part-time workers, who make up a large share of Starbucks' workforce, have become the most easily replaced group in the operations chain. Vocational service training is facing a dilemma. Should it continue to teach hands-on skills or fully pivot to tech operations training? Starbucks' evolution reveals a paradox in the modern service industry. The more the customer experience is modernized, the more the human touch, the warmth of service, risks being erased from the equation. No more salespeople. How Best Buy is changing. In the first quarter of 2025, Best Buy unexpectedly laid off nearly 2,000 workers, mainly in-store sales staff and customer service technicians. There were no team meetings or advance warnings. Many found out they had lost their jobs via a late-night email, including one single mother who shared that she couldn't believe the termination notice arrived at 10 p.m. The company cited restructuring to adapt to a new business model as the reason, one where AI shopping assistants, self-checkout kiosks, and online maintenance services are gradually replacing human presence at point of sale. This change has triggered multiple layers of impact. The electronics retail sector is entering a transition from physical experience to digital interaction, requiring customers to do more on their own, which in turn lowers the need for on-site staff. After-sales service technicians, once Best Buy's competitive edge, are now being replaced by online diagnostic tools or remote support. The part-time workforce community, once reliant on stable shift rotations, is losing ground as machines can now perform similar roles at lower cost. Best Buy's case poses a clear challenge. As competitive advantage shifts from human service to self-service tech, those who once embodied friendly, helpful advisory are now becoming surplus in the new business model. Walmart replaces people with machines. Low-income workers lose jobs. In the first quarter of 2025, Walmart closed several stores located in low-income areas across the U.S., resulting in over 1,400 jobs lost. However, most of those leaving the system weren't directly laid off. Instead, they experienced hour reductions so drastic, they no longer qualified for healthcare coverage, effectively forcing them out silently. At the same time, Walmart ramped up investments in self-checkout stations, AI cameras monitoring store aisles, and inventory-checking robots, tech solutions aimed at cutting labor costs and speeding up operations in remaining stores. This shift is profoundly reshaping the public retail landscape. Poorer areas, which relied on Walmart as both shopping hub and job provider, now face declining consumption and rising localized unemployment. Traditional retail is shrinking job opportunities for low-skill workers, as simple tasks like stocking, checkout, and inventory are gradually automated. The part-time workforce ecosystem in retail, already large and vulnerable, is being pushed further to the margins unless supported by reskilling programs. Walmart, given its scale and economic footprint, once again mirrors the tension between business efficiency and the role corporations play in the communities they once served. McDonald's replaces workers with machines, longtime staff let go. In the first half of 2025, McDonald's eliminated over 3,500 positions across its system, including kitchen staff and store managers. This decision coincided with a strategy to expand self-order kiosks, app-based ordering, and AI coordination in the kitchen to speed up service and reduce labor costs. One notable case involved a Missouri store manager with 18 years of experience, who had led the store through multiple crises, suddenly replaced in just 1 week, with no support plan or job handover process. Meanwhile, menu prices continue to rise due to increasing costs of ingredients and operations, while frontline employee wages have remained nearly unchanged, creating an imbalance in the value chain. The impact of this shift is being felt on multiple levels. The fast food service sector is entering a phase of aggressive automation, where the human factor is being scaled back, even in traditionally managerial roles. Longtime low-skill workers who once saw McDonald's as a long-term career are now being erased as experience is no longer valued. Consumers face a double pressure: rising prices but reduced human experience as the model shifts to standardized machine-driven processes. The fast food model, built on speed and consistency, is undergoing a radical transformation, but it raises a key question. Is efficiency now coming at the cost of loyalty, brand identity, and social responsibility? CVS closures leave communities without healthcare access. In 2025, CVS, one of America's largest pharmacy and healthcare chains, plans to close over 900 stores, especially in low-traffic residential areas or regions with overlapping locations. This comes alongside a deep operational shift. Many employees have been asked to transfer to distant locations, while others were terminated for failing to meet new coordination demands. At the same time, CVS is accelerating digital transformation. Health consultations, prescription orders, and payments are being integrated into mobile apps and AI systems, cutting labor costs but unintentionally excluding certain populations from service access. Social consequences are becoming increasingly apparent. Seniors, non-smartphone users, and low-income communities are most vulnerable, lacking the tools to access tech-based services. The once strong local healthcare access, CVS's former strength, is shrinking, leaving many communities without a frontline option for medication, especially for chronic patients or the uninsured. The retail health and pharmaceutical industry is entering a phase of centralization, where essential services are governed by algorithms instead of humans, prioritizing operational efficiency over social reach. CVS, once known as the local familiar place for health needs, is now transforming into a digital service platform. But in that shift, not everyone can keep up. Major corporations are quietly restructuring, silently pushing tens of thousands of workers out of the system. 12 major U.S. corporations are secretly laying off employees. Are you on that list? This isn't just a job crisis. It's a warning that our social structure is shifting in ways not everyone can adapt to. This video is for informational purposes only, compiled from public sources, and is not intended to criticize any brand. Subscribe to the channel for more in-depth analysis on economics, society, and the future of global employment.